Huh, what a chilling thought, right? Life drags you down, smashes you, makes you think you're finished, and then bam, out of the shadows comes this unseen hand, this ghostly spark, pulling you back from the edge. Exciting, isn't it? A little scary too, like danger breathing on your neck. Yet somehow it feels safe almost. Protective. That ghost doesn't roar, it doesn't argue, it doesn't beg. It just appears, quiet as a whisper, and suddenly you're alive again. Wow. Isn't that wild? That smile from the shadows, it isn't mocking you, it isn't laughing at your pain. It's daring you, challenging you, pushing you to rise. Angry at your struggles? Good. Afraid of your falls? Even better. Because those ghosts, whether they're your memories, your hidden strength, or your future self waiting in the distance, won't let you stay down. They smile because they already know the truth. You are stronger than the storm. Wow. Now this is where the story of life gets thrilling, isn't it? 1 second you are crushed beneath the weight of your own battles. Your chest feels like it's caving in. Your mind screams that it's over. And then suddenly out of nowhere, something grabs you. It's not loud, it doesn't crash in with flashing lights or booming thunder. No, it's subtle, sneaky, almost playful, like a ghost smiling in the corner. You don't expect it, you don't even see it coming, yet there it is, pulling you back from the edge with a grip you cannot deny. And that's the moment your eyes widen, your heart jumps, and you whisper to yourself, wait, what just happened? It feels like danger was inches away, ready to swallow you whole, and then bam, that invisible hand says, not today. Think about it, doesn't it make you laugh? In disbelief? Sometimes? How you were so sure you couldn't go on, so certain you were finished, and then something as small as a memory, a glance, or a thought reignited the spark inside you. That's the beauty of it. The rescue doesn't come wrapped in grand gestures. It doesn't announce itself with trumpets. It sneaks in like a thief of hope and leaves you stronger than before. That's what makes it so magical. Because while you were busy drowning in despair, life was secretly planning your survival. That invisible hand was always waiting in the shadows, smiling, almost teasing, saying, you thought you were done? Oh no, you've barely started. And yes, sometimes it makes you angry too. Angry at how close you came to giving up. Angry at how your mind tricked you into thinking you had nothing left. But that anger is powerful. It turns into fuel. It pushes you harder. It makes you stand taller. That invisible hand doesn't just save you. It awakens you. It shakes you out of the fog and dares you to fight again. It refuses to let you stay broken because it knows you were built for more than collapsing. By the time it lets go, you are no longer the same. You rise with fire in your chest, with laughter in your soul, with a dangerous kind of strength that says, try and break me again, I dare you. That invisible hand may vanish back into the shadows, but it leaves behind a memory so vivid, so unshakable, that you'll never forget it. And that memory becomes your shield, your sword, your secret weapon every time the darkness comes back. You know now you can survive. And not just survive, but rise with a grin that says, the shadows tried, but I am still here. Ah. The smile in the shadows, it feels almost unreal, doesn't it? You're stumbling through your own darkness, every step heavier than the last, and suddenly you sense it. A presence. A quiet energy. A grin you can't quite see, but you can feel. And wow, how can something so silent carry so much power? It doesn't laugh at you, it doesn't mock your pain. It simply exists, glowing faintly in the background like a lantern in the middle of a storm. That smile is haunting. Yes, but it's also beautiful, because in its quietness it screams the loudest truth: you are not alone. Picture it, you're crawling through the battlefield of your own thoughts. Danger all around. Every shadow looking like an enemy. Then suddenly out of nowhere you catch it. The ghostly curve of a smile. It doesn't shout, it doesn't wave, but the moment you notice it, your knees feel steadier, your chest breathes deeper, your spirit says, wait. Maybe I can keep going. That smile is more powerful than 1,000 speeches. Because it doesn't need words to lift you. It pours strength straight into your soul like fire being poured into ice, melting your fears, igniting your courage. And wow, how strange, how wild that something so quiet could shake you awake like that. It almost feels playful too, like the ghost is laughing softly. Not at your struggle, but at the lies your pain tried to tell you. You thought you were finished? The smile whispers, not even close. And that realization hits you like thunderstorms don't last forever, wounds don't bleed forever, shadows don't stay forever. That smile is a candle in a dark cave, small but enough to show you the way forward. Doesn't it feel thrilling to know that even in your weakest moment, something still believes in you, something still pushes you forward? The smile doesn't belong to one face. It could be the ghost of someone you once loved. It could be the reflection of your future self already celebrating your victory, or it could be your own strength in disguise, peeking at you from the corner, daring you to rise again. That's why it's powerful. It is universal. And when you feel it, when you let it sink into your bones, your lips begin to curve too. You begin to smile again, even in the chaos, even in the fire, even in the middle of the night that tried to break you. And that right there is victory. The ghost smile teaching you how to wear your own. Wow, what a revelation, right? The ghost you thought was watching you from the corner, the mysterious smile you felt in the dark, it was never a stranger at all. It was you, yes, you. The version of yourself that refuses to collapse, even when everything around you is falling apart. The warrior self that hides quietly in the background, waiting for the moment to roar. Think back to those times when you were certain you were finished, when you whispered to yourself, I can't go on, and yet somehow you did. Somehow your legs kept moving, your heart kept beating, your spirit kept clawing forward. That wasn't coincidence. That wasn't chance. That was your shadow self stepping in like a hero in the night, grabbing you by the shoulders and saying with quiet fire, get up, we're not done. There's something thrilling, almost spine-chilling about realizing that the version of you who survives the storms is not weak, not afraid, not lost, but relentless. It carries no fear. It doesn't hesitate. It doesn't doubt. It's the part of you that would walk barefoot through fire just to prove that your story isn't over. Wow, doesn't that shake you? Doesn't it feel almost dangerous, almost fierce to know that living inside you is a warrior you can't even see until life backs you into a corner? That shadow self is your hidden strength, your unseen protector, the fire inside the smoke. And when you finally notice it, when you finally recognize that it has been with you every step of the way, you stop feeling alone. You realize the smile in the dark was never from the outside. It was your own reflection grinning back at you, whispering, you've got this. People fear shadows, but not all shadows are meant to haunt. Some shadows fight for you. Yours is one of them. It is proof that inside your cracks lives courage, inside your heartbreak lives determination, and inside your silence burns a flame that refuses to die. When you're on your knees, when your tears blur your vision, that shadow self doesn't ask, it commands. It drags you to your feet and says with grit, not today, not yet. And the amazing part, that shadow never leaves. No matter how heavy the night gets, no matter how loud the chaos becomes, it is always there, smiling faintly, reminding you that you are tougher than your fears, braver than your doubts, stronger than your pain. And when you finally embrace that truth, when you stop running from your shadow and instead claim it as part of who you are, you unlock something unstoppable. You carry your greatest ally inside you, a guardian that has been protecting you since the beginning. The world might try to break you, but your shadow self laughs quietly, almost playfully, and says, go ahead, try. We've already survived worse. Isn't it wild? Almost magical? How sometimes the hand that pulls you back from the edge doesn't belong to a friend, a family member, or even someone you've spoken to before. It belongs to a complete stranger, a passing face in the crowd, a person who has no idea that in the middle of your private storm, their tiny action just lit a candle in your darkness. Wow. Think about that for a second. The stranger who smiled at you when your chest felt heavy with loneliness. The kind soul who opened a door when you were convinced the world didn't even see you anymore. The random passerby who tossed a few words your way. Words so light they probably forgot them instantly, but to you those words were an anchor, a lifeline, a reason to breathe again. These are the ghosts that don't wear chains of terror but cloaks of light. They slip in and out of your life so quietly, yet the echo of their kindness stays forever stitched into your memory. What makes it even more powerful, even more goosebump worthy, is that these strangers expected nothing. No applause, no thanks, no spotlight. They weren't trying to save you, but they did. They weren't even aware that their ordinary moment was your miracle. And doesn't that just make it more beautiful? Their kindness was pure, raw, uncalculated. They touched your life with no intention of reward, then disappeared back into the crowd as if they were never there. Yet years later, when you close your eyes, you can still see that smile, hear those words, feel that moment. It haunts you, not with fear, but with gratitude. It whispers there are still sparks of goodness in this world. Don't stop searching for them. Wow, doesn't that make your heart race a little? Doesn't it make your faith in humanity thump alive again? The truth is, you don't need grand gestures to be saved. Sometimes it's the smallest, simplest, most human act that throws you a rope when you're sinking. A smile can be a shield. A kind word can be a sword cutting through despair. A single gesture can be the invisible hand pulling you back into the light. And while they may never know the role they played, you carry them with you. Ghosts of light hidden in your story. They stay in your soul, flickering like candles that never go out. And here's the heart-thumping realization. Those moments prove you are never as alone as you think. Even in the sharpest loneliness, life will send souls across your path at the exact second you need them. They might vanish quickly, but their impact is eternal. And that is why those strangers, those fleeting ghosts, smile from the shadows. Because their purpose was never to walk beside you forever. Their purpose was to remind you in the most unexpected moment that you still matter, that you are still seen, that you are still worth saving. And that, my friend, is more than enough. Wow. Just imagine that for a second. The ghost that saves you isn't from your past, and it isn't from today. It's from the future. A version of you that already walked through the storms you're trapped in right now. A version of you who already felt the same crushing weight on their chest. Already survived the nights of silent tears. Already stumbled through the fire you're walking in. And when you close your eyes, you can almost see them standing there years ahead, stronger, unshaken, calm like a mountain. They look at you with pride, with a smile that says, keep going. You're closer than you think. Doesn't that make your heart beat a little faster? Doesn't it fill you with goosebumps to imagine that version of you already existing, already victorious, already whole? That ghost of your future self is like a silent protector hiding in your veins, always pulling you forward even when you feel like collapsing. You know that sudden burst of strength that hits you right when you're about to give up. That little spark that whispers, not yet, not here. That's them. That's your future self reaching back through the shadows of time, refusing to let you surrender. They've already lived the life you dream of, already stood on the other side of this mountain, already breathed in the peace you are desperate for. And because they know what's waiting for you, they won't let you stop now. They are the ghost that refuses to let your story end in defeat. Think about it, the struggles you face today aren't meaningless pain. They are bricks being laid to build the version of you that already exists in the future. Every scar, every tear, every long night is carving out the strength, the patience, the wisdom that your future self is already using. The smile they wear when they look at you isn't mocking your suffering. No, it's a celebration. It's joy. It's their way of saying, you don't realize it yet, but you're becoming everything I already am. That smile is pure fire. It tells you that every step, even the shaky ones, is pulling you closer to them. So when the weight feels too much and quitting feels easier than breathing, stop. Close your eye. Picture your future self, calm, powerful, alive, standing in the distance with that unshakable smile. Feel them pulling you forward. Hear them urging you on without words. They're waiting for you. They won't let you give up. They already know the ending of your story, and trust me, it's not tragedy, it's triumph. It's victory. It's a version of you so strong and complete that even your pain today would bow down in awe. That's the ghost that saves you, the ghost of who you're destined to be. Isn't it strange and almost thrilling that the ghost that saves you never says a word? No shouting, no long speeches, no arguments with your doubts. Nothing. Just silence. And yet that silence feels louder than thunder, sharper than fire, heavier than any voice you've ever heard. Because words, oh words, can be twisted, broken, misheard. But silence? Silence is pure. Silence goes straight to the heart. It doesn't need explanation, it doesn't beg to be understood, it just is. And in that stillness you feel something stirring inside, almost like a secret current pulling you forward. It's like the ghost is whispering without sound. You already know. You already have it in you. Trust yourself. And wow, doesn't that thought send shivers racing through your skin? That silence isn't empty. No, it's alive. It's heavy with presence, rich with meaning, overflowing with power. Think about those moments when you were right at the edge, ready to collapse, ready to fall apart. No one spoke into your ear. No magical voice told you what to do, yet somehow you breathed again. You stood up again. You took one more step when you swore you couldn't. That's the ghost speaking in the language of silence. That's the ghost showing you strength, not through words but through presence. And wow, isn't that powerful? Because silence forces you to stop looking out there and start listening in here to the voice you buried beneath fear and doubt. And maybe that's the secret. The ghost doesn't talk because you don't need another voice. Deep down, you already carry every answer, every ounce of courage, every spark of resilience you could ever need. If it spoke, you might ignore yourself. If it gave directions, you might depend on it, but by staying silent, it forces you to discover the fire that was always burning inside you. When the ghost pulls you back from the edge, it doesn't need to say, "I saved you." It lets you feel it. When it walks with you through the storm, it doesn't say, "Follow me." It just stands there steady, unshaken, until you realize you were always capable of surviving the fire yourself. That smile in its silence, oh, it's not mocking you, it's knowing. It's the kind of smile that says, finally you see it, finally you hear yourself. And in that moment you realize something breathtaking. The ghost never needed to speak. Because you already had the voice, the courage, the power to write your own ending. Its silence was never a void. It was an invitation for you to rise. Ah, what a ride, huh? We walked with shadows, danced with ghosts, and listened to the silence that speaks louder than any scream. And if there's one thing you carry from this, let it be this truth. You are never as broken as you think, never as lost as you feel, never as weak as the world wants you to believe. Somewhere in the dark, a ghost smiles, not to scare you, but to remind you that your story is still being written. So laugh at the pain, roar at the fear, and walk forward with fire in your chest. Because the shadows don't hold you back. They cheer you on. And when you rise, oh, when you rise, the whole world will feel it.